sure. Alright, well, we were talking about your kind of lower end, your wash/detail places, hand wash, hand wet, whatever. Now let's talk about your, there are some professional shops out there. They're going to be a lot better about getting your car clean than the first two. You talk about your more professional detailers. Now, typically, here in the States, here in America anyway, usually what you'll have is one guy that really knew what they were doing that started the business, that figured out somewhere along the way he needed to somewhat train a bunch of people and do it on a mass scale. And that's what you see a lot of in America. And I'm not saying good or bad about it, it's just really hard to train, with my experience. In my personal experience, it's hard to train a lot of people to do it like that. But you'll have some pretty well-trained guys, compared to your kind of average Joe detailer out there or your car wash. They're actually, you know, quite a bit above that. Probably amongst them, they're going to wash the car fairly correctly. The only thing, like I said, that a lot of them do, they probably know better, but they will kind of stretch it anyway, is maybe on the chemicals. They might use some harsh chemicals. They stand a lot better chance of using them a lot more properly than other shops do, but they will still use them. There's, you know, some of them out there will maybe use them correctly on kind of on an as-needed basis. Some of them kind of know better, but kind of, you know, not wink do it anyway. So they'll do all that. They typically can do your polishing, waxing, and things like that pretty well. They'll know what a clay bar is, first of all, to actually get the paint cleaned up properly before they start putting the machine on the paint, which is goes without saying. They typically are pretty good on interiors. They'll usually have a hot water extractor machine like that. They may have, you know, really good equipment. And of course, that is half the battle. The other half the battle is having people that can use the equipment correctly, and that's where you can get into a little bit of trouble with the more professionally ran services. Is sometimes they may get in to doing services that might be a little over their crew's head, or you know, they have some of their better detailers call in sick, so. You know, stuff like that. That's stuff that every shop goes through. But typically they're gonna polish it up. They're gonna wax it. There's gonna be compared to your normal average detailer or car washer, it's gonna be a night and day difference, especially in all the little details and just the overall, the shine, the look of the car. You'll notice a couple of days later it's still smelling nice and fresh because it was actually completely cleaned properly. They didn't just spray fragrances over dirt and things like that. They actually did a really good job of getting the car cleaned out and getting it presented. You'll typically find that like your door jambs look better. Your windows will look better. Your paint will shine closer to that new look that it had when you first bought it. You'll notice all of that, and there's a few of them that can do paint correction. They can get out some minor scratches and stuff. Typically they can do it. You still run into holograms. Usually your professional shops, if they hologram, won't do it on kind of the amateur end where they put some heavy compound on it and try to wax over it, where they put deep scratches in there and then fill it with wax. Usually it's on just not properly knowing their chemicals quite as good as they should, and what RPMs to run them, how hot you can get a product, how long you can work a product, how to work a product out, which can cause little holograms and stuff like that. You might notice a few of those. Usually they try to give their bucking guys training, but that guy might have 50 cars to do in a day or something like that. So when you kind of get into that kind of shop, they're going to do you a good job. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to beat any of these professions up. They all serve a purpose, and they have a market that they serve, and God bless them and more power to them. This is just kind of an explanation of the different sorts of services that you can get kind of across the board in a shop. So in your professional shop, you're going to see hot water extraction. They may dye carpets, or they may fix burns, or they may have people that come in and do specialty work for them, maybe some touch-up paint, things like that. They'll polish cars. They'll usually advertise if they use a clay bar or something like that. You're getting into your more professional shops when you start seeing that. They may actually offer a bigger variety of waxes, although a lot of them do not. They use mostly polymer waxes or something easy on, easy off steel. I haven't quite caught on the reason why they're yet, but that's what they do more. In a lot of these professional shops, you'll still see kind of a industrialized process to the whole thing, and that you have guys that are washing it, and guys that are doing this of the interior, and guys that do that, and guys that do that. So you still see kind of a thing like that in place, but they're going to usually do you night and day difference from what a car wash will do for you. And if you want to step up to that, you want your car to actually look good, and you want to protect your investment, it's where I'd recommend going. The upfront cost now is going to more than pay for itself when your car's in a lot better shape 5 or 10 years down the road, especially compared to what you're going to get with a car wash or something like that. You take stain stuff into these guys when it's still fairly fresh, they can fix it for you right then. You avoid having to do a dye job or whatever on your carpet later on. So yeah, these shops are overall good to go. They're going to, maybe on the polishing end, they'll still mess up a little bit. They're not going to offer you a lot on the wax end. They're probably not going to do deep paint correction to a super high level, but they will offer maybe a little 2 or 3 step system that company XYZ offers if they have a little kind of marketing deal with or some mess like that. Typically stuff like, you know, company blah blah blah, their 3-step process to make your car look perfect, which it will a little bit, but it actually won't do the kind of paint correction that your higher end and actually all too few probably in the United States actually do. So